All right. All right. And we are live.
We are
Good
live.
evening. Let's see. I'm double checking on Facebook, on our Facebook page to make sure we are in live in action. Yes, we are. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Tonight, as the description has said or is read, that we will be talking about how to apply and obtain a passport, because next year Toronto, Canada is our empowerment conference in April 18th through the 20th to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we are trying to rally and get as many people to come to Toronto and be with us to travel international. If you don't have your passport, this is the time to get your passport. Get it now, get it in advance. If you have any questions, we are here. The IPYPU secretaries are here to help you with that. So, Tania, you want to introduce yourself?
Of course I can. Praise the Lord, everyone. My name is Sister Tony, and I am your IPYPU secretary. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to take some time to chat with you all. Let us know where you're joining us from. We want to see who's here. Say hello to somebody else in the comments. Let's wish somebody a happy Thursday, a happy almost weekend. And we're just going to spend some time talking about how to get a passport, why it's important, mainly because you need one. If you're coming with us to Canada, we'll give you some information about how you can register to join us, and we'll just chat and have a good time. Mariska,
Yes.
you want to get started?
Absolutely. We can get started. So, as we stated before, we are going to Canada next year, which means you need a passport to get into Canada. Now, there was a time before where you didn't need a passport to go to Canada. When I was younger, I went, we didn't need a passport. But now you need a passport to get to Canada because that is considered international borders. So, we want to make sure that the United States, us, the ones who are domestic in the States, are well equipped and prepared. So when you get your, hey y'all, hey Deacon Omar, good to see you. So just in case, once you get to the airport, we don't need any trouble. We
No
don't need
trouble.
anyone turning you around because you don't have the proper documentations to get through TSA. So tonight, we are starting off with our first passport information session. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, we want to put a disclaimer out there that the IPYPU secretaries wish to clarify that we have no affiliation with the U.S. Department of State and the Bureau of Consular Affairs. The content of this presentation, as well as any subsequent materials, is provided solely for educational purposes and should not be considered as official guidance from the U.S. Department of State. The information shared does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. All information, content, and materials available are for general informational purposes only, and is not a substitute for an attorney. So we just wanted to get that out clear. We are here just to provide you information from what we got from the travel.state.gov website, which is the official website for those who are applying for a passport. So
Right.
let's
So
move
we
on.
will do our best. If you have questions, definitely put them in the chat. If we don't have an answer, we will try to get it for you. And of course, if there's anything that you want to follow up with, you can always reach us at info@ipypu.org.
Yes. All right. So we will be going over 6 steps tonight to apply for a passport. First step is, well, the first thing that we want to talk about is the differences between a passport book and a passport card, because it's major differences to both. So go ahead.
So the passport book is probably what you all know. It's a small blue book with gold embossing on the front, and For adults, it's valid for 10 years. For children, if they're under the age of 16, it's valid for 5 years. If you've never had a passport before and this is your first time applying, the fee for adults is $165, and for children, it's $135. If you just need to renew a passport, for adults, it will be $130. There are additional fees as far as if you would like to expedite the processing of your passport, and we'll cover that later. These are just the standard costs for obtaining a passport book. Another thing to note is that the passport book is valid for travel by air, sea, or land. There's no restrictions to how you have to enter a country or exit to return to the US to use a passport book. I will say, if you already have a passport, some places, and this is one thing that we didn't check, I'm thinking about it now. Sometimes to come back into the US, you need to have a certain amount of time left on your passport. So if you only have a week or 2 weeks, or even a month, I believe it's like 6 months that you have to have beyond your travel date, just in case something happens. If you get held over in a country, you decide to stay longer than you planned, you do have to make sure there's some extra validity on the end of your passport. So you can't run right up until the expiration date. You do need to have at least 6 months after you plan to return. For the US passport card, I know that can be appealing to some people because of the cost. So that one is $65 for adults and $50 for children who are under the age of 16. And you can renew that one for $30. You can use that one to cross land borders from Mexico and Canada. But as you can see, it's only valid for land and sea entry from Canada, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Bermuda. It is not valid for international travel by air. So do not be deceived and think that you can save $100 and get yourself a passport card if you are flying. If you're driving, you're good. If you're getting on that big steel bird in the sky, you need to have a passport book. And you will not be allowed to board any international flight if you don't have proper documentation. So we want to make sure that you understand the differences and what it is that you need to have in hand when you get to the airport. Like we said, if you're driving, you can definitely look into getting the passport card. But if you plan on doing more international travel or you plan to get to Canada on an airplane, you need to have a passport book.
Absolutely. And I want to add here too is don't be cheap and get caught in a country.
Mm-hmm.
It is expensive, y'all. It is very expensive, especially if your funds, if you haven't allotted your funds to stay in longer, just in case. So I will say, if you're looking at the cost, if for an adult, $165 roughly before all the extra expedited fees and all that stuff, that's about $17 a year if you're counting 10 years.
Right.
So this is a well investment. Sometimes people think that, hey, I'm just going to travel one time. Listen, you travel one time, you're going to get the bug. And you,
right.
When you're in Canada, you're probably going to think, okay, where else? What another country I'm going to now? Or now that you have a passport, you're just thinking of the endless possibilities with that. So my recommendation, I will say, is go ahead and get the passport book, especially if you are 16 years or older, and just travel the world. See great things and different things. But okay, next. All right. Now there are three different types of applications. Passport applications. One, you have the DS-82, and this is the passport renewal, which can be renewed online. Then you have the DS-11. This is for all those who are applying for a new passport. You have to apply in person if you're applying for a new passport. And then lastly, the DS-64. This is for anyone who has reported a lost or stolen passport. This is the form that you will fill out Now, on the travel.state.gov website, which is the official passport website, you can fill out a form electronically. But I will say, if you fill the form out, wait until you schedule and you are there on site to do a wet signature, because you never know if there's any delays, any cancellations on your end or their end that may prevent you. So you want to wait to do any wet signatures at on site. And then also, if you can also print it out, you can print out a form and take it with you, or you can go to any of the acceptance facilities to get a physical copy and to sign out your form. Years ago, when I did mine, I went to the actual post office on the scheduled date, or not before the scheduled date. I went and got the physical paper, and then once it was my appointment, I went in and I gave them the paper, and I also took the passport photo there. So we will talk about that further in our presentation, but these are the three main documents that you may experience depending on if you have a passport or not.
I was going to add something, but I'll save it for later.
Okay.
All right. So let's talk about the required documents. So you do need a proof of citizenship. So that would be either your certificate of naturalization if you were not born in the United States, or a U.S. birth certificate. You do need an original copy of either of those. An original copy should have some sort of seal. It's usually a raised seal or something like that. So if your mother never gave you your birth certificate from under the mattress, you can take yourself down to City Hall or Town Hall, wherever you were born, and you can get another copy. There usually is a small fee, but they will be able to give you another copy of an original, and they will put a seal on it. I know where I am here in Connecticut, they kind of punch, and they make a raised seal on it. And usually when you turn that in at your appointment, they'll check to make sure that's there. If it's a photocopy, it's no good. Even if they can see whatever the seal or embossing was, if it can't be felt, it won't be accepted. You'll also need a proof of identity. And that is your state issued ID, so a driver's license or some other sort of state ID. I think everyone pretty much knows what that is. If you don't have one of those, now is probably a good time to get one of those as well. They'll ask for some sort of what they call a primary ID and a secondary ID. So a primary ID can be, like we said, that citizenship document, certificate of naturalization. There's lots of other things that you can find on travel.state.gov, and it kind of goes into some more less common things that folks might have, like a green card, a Mexican consular ID, a foreign passport if it's valid. Those sorts of things will all suffice for a primary ID. And then your secondary ID is a temporary driver's license, social security card, student ID. Apparently, you can also use a school yearbook photo. So they'll definitely work with you to take different forms of ID if you don't have these standard ones. But if you don't, now will be a great time to get you one of those. You need a color photo of yourself that is taken within the last 6 months. No filters, no selfies, nothing that you've posted on Instagram or Facebook that's altered. You do have to have a plain background, preferably white or off-white. If you wear glasses, you should take them off. And generally, they ask for an expressionless photo. Just something that they can use to always identify you by. There are many places where you can get your passport photo taken. Drugstores like CVS, Walgreens, they take them for you, and they can print them out. They come in a little tiny square, and you can turn that in with your application.
Yeah. And I want to add a couple things to some of the points that you said, Tania. One is when it concerns the birth certificate. We have it on there to bring a copy and then also bring the original, because what's going to happen is they take your original copy and you want to have your own copy for yourself, but they will take it for a period of time and they will mail it back to you separately from your actual passport. And it's really not a definite time frame of when you're going to get both back either at the same time or different time. So always have a copy of your birth certificate. And I missed that on my next point. Oh, also, I remember. So also at the post office or anywhere on the website, travel.state.gov. We're going to keep repeating it so you can write it down, so you can memorize it, and so you can have it. But also, you have the ability to go on that website, and when you book your appointment, you can see which facilities have it where you can do your passport there. I mean, not passport, where you can do your picture
Your
on
photo.
site. Yes. So it just depends on the facility, depends on where you go, but you have so many options to where you don't really have to rely on you taking a picture for yourself. Just in case anything goes wrong, it is best to take it at a facility that is approved to take passport photos.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you go to a passport acceptance facility, like a post office or something like that, where they do offer to take your photo, you might want to bring a few extra dollars because sometimes, most of the time, they will charge for that service. So just keep that in mind.
Right. All right, next we will go and talk about the processing fees. So earlier we talked about generally what the fees were, but this is a breakdown for the fees for the DS11, which is the form for new applicants, and then also for DS82, which is the renewal form. So first, for the passport book, you're starting at the application fee of $130. And then you will have an execution fee, which typically that's the fee that goes towards the acceptance facility, and they typically take it by cash. It's $35. And if you are one of those people who waits to the last minute to get it done and need it expedited, it's an additional $60. And this is for the passport book. And then on the right side, the passport card, it starts for the application fee of $30. Execution fee is the same, $35, and the same for the expedited service. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I want to note here, you can, if you want both the book and the card, the fee starts at $160. And then also you can do an expedited delivery service or delivery for 1 to 2 days delivery of additional fee of $19.53. So as you can see, the longer you wait, the more you may have to pay. So right now, while we are 6 months out of the empowerment conference, go ahead, start the application, get your coins together. Even the holiday season is coming up. If you need to put that on there on your wish list or something to get the funds, go ahead and do so while it's time.
Right. And I think the average turnaround time for a passport is about 8 to 12 weeks. That's standard. It could be a lot sooner than that, but as you get into high travel time, it could take a lot longer than that too. So you definitely want to avoid that as best you can, because as you see, these fees can pile up really quickly if you wait until the last minute.
Right.
All
So
right, let's go ahead. You want to talk about scheduling an appointment?
yes, we can talk about it. We spoke about it before. Here are three of the ways that you can schedule an appointment through the post office. Avoid the expedited fees. Yes, avoid the expedited fees. Please use use that money for the empowerment conference. Go ahead and put it in your piggy bank and use that $60 for food at the empowerment conference.
Use
Amen.
or
Okay.
to register
Or better yet,
if you
register.
haven't registered yet.
Yes, you can use it for that too. So to schedule some of the scheduling facilities that you can or that is out there is a post office. You can use the website here. You can go to the library. You can go to acceptance facility locations, and a way to search the facilities close to you is here at travel.state.gov.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next slide.
After you schedule your appointment, you want to go to your appointment. Make sure you give yourself ample time. You never know what parking is like or what the situation will be as far as like a line to get in. Some places will accept appointments, but some will do walk-ins. Some might do a mix of the two. So you never know what you're walking into. You don't want to miss out and have to make another appointment, take more time out of your schedule to get this done. You want to get it done in one shot. So what you want to bring to your appointment is that completed application form. And like Mariska said, you want to wait to sign anything until you're in front of the person who will be accepting your application. Your check, your money order, debit or credit card, and extra cash in case there's any other fees that you didn't think about, possibly for getting that picture taken. Sometimes you may come with a photo already and it's not acceptable, and you may need to have another one taken. So you want to account for that. Having a check or a money order, ensuring that that's what the facility will accept, or if they'll take a debit or a credit card, you can bring that as well. You want to remember your original and your copy for your proof of citizenship, your proof of identity as well. If you are applying with a different name than what's on a previous passport, if you're renewing, you want to bring a certificate of a name change. So whatever was the reason for changing that name, whatever documentation you have, you want to bring that with you, and then your color photo. So all of these things, you can package them up, put them in an envelope, paper clip them together, however it is that you need to keep them together to get them all to the same place at the same time. You want to bring them. It's similar to going to the DMV. If you forget just one piece, you will not be able to apply for your passport that day. You'll have to come back when they have an open appointment, which may not be immediately. So you want to do your due diligence and make sure you have everything you need all together so you can apply for your passport during your appointment time.
Absolutely.
All right. Processing times. Go ahead.
Yep. And Nia already spoke about it. It takes typically up to 8 to 12 weeks of processing all of your application, even getting your passport book or card back. And expedited can take up to 5 to 7 weeks. And also, that's an additional $60 for anything that you need to have expedited. So the sooner, the better.
Right. And remember, none of these times are guaranteed. They are great suggestions. And when it's not a busy travel time, yes. But if you were traveling over the summer or something like that, when folks are getting ready to go on vacation, these times can be months and months, as they have been over the last year or so. They've just been really extended, and you want to avoid that the best you can.
Absolutely. All right. And before we end, we just want to thank the Canada District Council, Young People's Union staff, and the host, Diocesan Bishop Barrington Smith. We are coming into their territory, and we want to just thank them in advance for the hard work, for the hospitality, for anything. I know they're laying out the red carpet for us. So we want to thank this team, thank the staff, thank anyone that is involved. And we are excited to be in Canada next year. And that's probably less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months. So don't forget, if you haven't registered, you need to register. We will put the registration information on our page so that you can access the information. Like I said earlier today, today's price will not be tomorrow's price or even next year's price. So we definitely want to make sure that we are getting your registration in as soon as possible so that we can communicate with you about what it is that we're planning for Toronto. And yes, happy birthday to Bishop Smith, our host diocesan. Just celebrated a birthday.
Let's see what's next. Oh, and if you have any questions moving forward in the process, or if you want this deck, or if you want the links or anything to any of the information that you have questions about, feel free to email us at info@ipypu.org. And I will say, if you have questions about the registration or anything else, feel free to email us as well, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And registration is still open. I thought I added it here to the slides, but I guess I did not. But if you go on our Instagram page, Facebook page, or anywhere that you find us, the link is there in the bio. I think the link is also in the description of this meeting on Facebook. So click on the link, register,
Click
register.
on the link in the bio.
Link in the bio. But we are so excited to see everyone in Canada next year. This will be my first international trip with IPYPU, so I'm very excited. I'm excited to serve. We are excited to just make it a great experience.
It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time. So you definitely don't want to miss it. We have so much in store. And like I said, as you register, you will get more information from us about our itinerary, where we will be, things that we have planned. And of course, if there's anything that you'd like to see or a suggestion you have, send us an email and maybe it's something we can add to the itinerary.
Yes. Yep, because it will be more than church services. We will be out, being a tourist, out in the streets, having a good time. So this will not just be church services. So if you are interested in seeing more of Canada and also experience the glory of God, register, come to Canada, enjoy your sail, and we're going to enjoy having you.
Mhm.
All right.
We're excited to see you all there.
Then I guess that is it.
I guess all hearts and minds are clear.
Here. All right. Until next time.
All right. Have a good
Take
night.
care. Thank you for joining us.